Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a life coach and a therapist had a baby, you would get me. I am so excited to share with you today my amazing weekend and the Marquette Half Marathon that I did last weekend. So first, I want to talk about just some housekeeping things. The third round of It's Your Effin' Breakthrough is starting August 18th. I'm so excited. This is going to be 2 weeks from today. And It's Your Effin' Breakthrough is my 3-week group coaching journaling program. So basically, we dive in for 3 weeks of intentional self-care that we do through journaling. And if you've never journaled before, or if you have journaled and never sort of had the outcome that you wanted, or maybe even it just didn't even bring you to a place that you thought it would, or if you've enjoyed journaling. I have a lot of clients who do journal, but I have found that through specific prompts that are fitting to them, they walk away with really big aha moments. So It's Your Effin' Breakthrough is a program that I've developed from start to finish to help you have huge breakthroughs. And I can't say enough about how much journaling has impacted my own life and brought me down and given me clarity on things that I wasn't even looking for and didn't even know that they were there. So if you are curious, or if you are looking for a way to improve your mental health, or maybe you're stuck, maybe you're feeling unfulfilled, maybe you are lacking purpose, journaling helps with so many different things, from reduction of anxiety symptoms to helping with sleep to giving you more clarity with your goals. There's so many different benefits to journaling. I made a reel yesterday. It's so funny. Whenever I actually take time to develop reels, they never do very well. But the ones that I like throw up of my stupid workout clips with my dog hair blowing in the background, like those are the ones I get most of my views on. Social media is wild. But I made a reel yesterday with like a bunch of different benefits to journaling, because I don't think people realize how impactful it can be, sort of like gratitude. So anyways, we start round 2, round 3, August 18th. I'm so excited to lead you to a place of just better mental health and better self-care. When you don't have to take from that is journaling, every single day, but the breakthrough is meant to really get you to a place where you feel like you have made a breakthrough. So I'm so excited, because after we do this round of It's Your Effin' Breakthrough, I'm going to open It's Your Effin' Breakthrough the club, and that's going to be ongoing support. So you can take all the ahas and all the breakthroughs that you've had through the program, and then ongoing, I will give you a journal prompt every week to keep that momentum going, to keep you moving forward, to keep you in that practice of journaling, so that you can continue to check in with yourself and really figure out what your next steps are. So super excited. Can't wait to see you in there. Link is in the show notes. Link is in my bio on Instagram. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. I love questions, because I don't know what you're thinking if you don't ask, and I can help answer anything that you have, or give you any clarity on what the program looks like. But this is for you to set aside some time for you to check in with yourself. And there's nothing more powerful than that, because I know a lot of people, when it comes to like big, heavy feelings, are often trying to distract themselves from them, or they're trying to stay busy. It's a lot of the times I check in with clients, I'm like, how is everything going? And they're like, well, I haven't been feeling anything because I've been really busy. And I'm like, well, but that doesn't really help the feeling, right? That doesn't really get you in tune or in check with what's happening inside of you, or what's happening in your brain, or where are these feelings coming from, or how can you resolve them. Staying busy is just staying busy. It's just distracting yourself. So your feeling is still going to be there at the end of the busyness. This is the point of self-care, and the point of targeting your mental health head on is to help you with those feelings, to help you through those feelings, and not just distract yourself from them. So get in there. Don't wait any longer. This is your time, and I want to help you feel better. So, okay, let's talk about this weekend. So every single year when I was a coach with Beachbody/Body, we did a annual conference. It was called Summit. It was in the summer. It was amazing. It was usually started on a Thursday. And so Thursday, Friday, Saturday was like a fucking whirlwind of conferences and events and parties. We got no sleep, and it was unbelievable in the best ways. I've been doing that since I think 2018 was my first summit. And, you know, from the very first time that I said yes to that trip, first of all, it was not easy. I was scared as fuck to leave my family, to go meet people that I had never met before, to go travel alone like I had never done before. It was crazy. But everything changed. Everything changed for me when I said yes to that first summit. And I learned the power of meeting these women who had similar goals to me, of having this desire to be a better mom, to show up in the world in a different way, to take my health and my physical health and my mental health really seriously. And I loved being in these rooms with these women. And so when Body collapsed last year, we had already decided we had already booked our time and our tickets for Summit for this year. So when that all went away, we were like, fuck no, we are still seeing each other. We are still getting together because these friendships and these experiences and this time together is worth it. So we decided to keep the same weekend. And it was really important to me to challenge myself with a race. Part of my dream of running down a dream team, my team with Beachbody, was to get everybody together to do a race. So I sort of kept that vision alive and picked a race in the probably weirdest, most random place, the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. But in my defense, I didn't know how far up it was. I'm like, I just see this race. It looked pretty. It looked like it was on the water, and I chose it. It ended up being perfect. So, everything always works out. And the people who are meant to be there were meant to be there. So we decided, and then this particular race was called the Marquette, or no. It was called the Queen City Half. And it had a half marathon or a 5K. That was important to me because I wanted people to be able to choose a distance that was right for them, whether they were challenging themselves for their first half marathon, doing another half marathon, or doing a 5K for their first time. I wanted everybody to have something that they could choose from. There ended up being 10 of us who signed up for the race. The race wasn't required. You could do the race if you wanted to, but anyone was welcome to do the weekend and, participate in the retreat, as we called it, or girls weekend, or whatever, you want to call it. So 10 of us. And so 6 of us did the half marathon and 4 of us did the 5K. Melissa, it was so nice because my girls from my team, Running Down a Dream team, Melissa Smith, who has come to, I don't know, I think 4 summit. This was her 4th summit, I want to say, maybe 3rd. I can't remember. St. Louis to San Antonio. So this was her 4th. Debbie, same thing. Debbie has been with me. I met her online and she's just the best supportive person. Melissa has been, I must have told the story 500 times, I feel like, in the last week, but Melissa Smith and I have known each other since middle school, but we were always fine with each other. We were cool. We were acquaintances, but we really became friends through Beachbody. So, and it's just been such a great, amazing friendship for me. Same with Debbie. And what's so cool is, like, Debbie and Melissa are best friends now, and they are great. They have a great friendship, and it just like warms my heart to see it because, I think when we lost Body, there did seem to be such a loss, but there's so much good that came from it. And I'm just always so grateful. So, and then Rachel, this was Rachel's first time coming to a live event. She has always wanted to come to Summit, but oftentimes it got in the way of the timing. Was when she was still in school. She's a 2nd grade teacher. And so this was the first year that she was like, I'm coming. So this was so exciting for me and so exciting. So Melissa Smith and I decided to fly because we're in the same place. We both live in Connecticut. We decided to fly to Chicago Tuesday, spend the day in Chicago, spend the night in Chicago, and then we were going to drive up to Marquette, the Upper Peninsula, on Wednesday and meet up with whoever was coming on Wednesday. And our Airbnb we had reserved from Wednesday to Sunday. So we did that. Melissa Smith and I had such an amazing adventure in Chicago together. Drank all the things and ate all the things and walked all the routes. We did the river walk. Oh, it was such a wonderful day. Just the perfect Chicago day. and then met up with Debbie early Wednesday morning and started the drive. It was a 6-hour drive from Chicago to the Upper Peninsula. And a lot of our friends were coming from the Wisconsin area. So we actually decided to meet halfway in Green Bay to have some lunch and meet. We were meeting some of these people for the first time. And I have to tell you, the best fucking part of these trips is, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't even know some of these people. And it's just so fun. So, you know, who knows? Are we going to get along? I mean, I've never not like, you know, gotten along with people, but you never know. So we met at a restaurant and met these people. And that's the coolest thing is that you walk into these trips, strangers, and you leave with these friendships and shared experiences and just this time, this like capsule in time that will never happen again. You know, it's sort of sad, but also sort of special that like, will we ever have this group again? Probably not, but we'll forever have these memories. And it's just, oh God, if you have never gone on a girls trip or said yes to yourself or said yes to a solo trip like this, not a solo trip, but you know what I mean? Go fucking do it. Go plan one. Get the girls trip out of the chat into real life. I know like we have all those ha-has about that, but it's so true when you take it. And I had one of my first group travel experiences when I was younger was similar. Like I sort of pressured my friends to book this cruise and was so glad that I fucking did that and push them to do that because now we'll ever forever have this memory of this cruise that we took when we were babies in 2003, year before I ended up getting pregnant with Kaylin. So anyways, just take the fucking trip. Take the trip, take it out of the chat, push your friends, book the trip, have the experiences. And if people are asking you, come on my girls trip, come to my retreat, and you want to do it, go do it. Go say yes. You just like, life is not promised to us. Tomorrow is not promised. So what are you doing to say yes to experiences and live your fucking life? Someone messaged me last week and just said, you just keep on living. And I was like, yes. And I'm glad that you see that. And I'm glad that you appreciate that. And I hope that that's inspiring to you because that is exactly how I choose to live my life. Just keep on living. We had like you couldn't have asked for a better weekend. We thought that it was going to be super cold in Michigan. It ended up being very, very warm. And we did so many like I can't even explain to you. Like, so we did this hike on Thursday that I looked up on Athlinks. It said moderate. It was under 2 miles. We were going to be chasing waterfalls. When I tell you it was such a technical and hard trail, I would not be lying. We had to climb over trees and climb up mountains. And, you know, it was very rigorous. And everyone came together to support to support each other in a way that it felt like it felt like a deliberate team building experience. And it was. We helped each other, we cheered each other on, we, you know, had to hold hands, we had to navigate these trails and then we got rewarded with these incredible waterfalls, these incredible views, this gorgeous man who ended up walking through the trails that we all like stopped and drooled. He had the perfect body. Yeah, I had to mention him because that was, and then we saw him the next day. We were like, oh my God, it's our beautiful man. He doesn't have a name. He's just the beautiful man. So we hiked all the, and we get to one site and we were like, this is the most beautiful. And then we go to the next, then we climb the next like rung of the mountain and we were like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful. And then we get to the next one. It was the most beautiful. We got to the top of the trail, which was only, I think, 0.8 miles, which is wild because it just seemed like we had climbed, you know, 10 miles. But we got to the top of the waterfall and there was this beautiful place to swim. And we all decided to jump in with our clothes on because we weren't prepared to swim. And that was unreal. It was just like, just these amazing moments. Went back, had so much fun, did so much singing. We played blind karaoke where you have to, it's only plays the instrumental music on the screen and you have your back to it. So you can't see the words and you have to sing the song. So much fun, so much fun. And the next day we welcomed another friend that arrived late that night and had more adventures. We went to this blueberry festival, and then we climbed the black rocks and jumped off of them, which was terrifying. It was just so much fun, so much laughter, just amazing experiences. So Saturday was the Queen City Half. So we had picked up our bib before the Blueberry Festival on Friday, and as I said, Saturday was the race. The 5K was starting at 8 a.m. and the half marathon was starting at 8:05. So day of the race, we didn't have to do anything except get there. So we planned to get there. We planned to leave our Airbnb at 7 a.m. Got to the race at like 7:15, super easy. It was warm, and we knew it was going to get warmer as the morning progressed. We also, I had no idea we looked at the course map, but I didn't really look at it in terms of like how it connected to the 5K. It ended up being, you guessed it, amazingly perfect, because when the 5K started at 8 a.m., they went down and to the left. And then the half marathon started 5 minutes later. We went down and to the right, but only for a mile. So when we looped back after that 1 mile, we got to pass all our half marathon friends. So whoever was faster, I got to see coming this way. And then whoever was behind me, I got to see the other way. So I got to see all my half marathon friends in that very early on spot. We were on the water. It was amazing, on Lake Superior. And then when we passed where we had started, we got to pass all our 5K friends. So every single person I got to pass, having an out and back. I love out and back courses because you get to see so many people, you get to cheer people on, just such good vibes. I went into this race with zero expectations of time, just to have a good time, see how I felt, and just do my thing. So that's exactly what I did. I sort of regretted early on not staying with friends, because sometimes when I run my own race, I just don't enjoy it as much. It's a lot of being in my head. It just doesn't seem as fun. So I really was like, I think by mile 4, like, I hope my friends that are behind me catch up to me so that I can just hang with them and be with them, and that will be way more fun. But I didn't really. I spent most of the race alone, which is totally fine, but it's just not fun. It's just not as fun. So but I did have quite an experience at it was mile 6. It was halfway. So okay, one of the cool stories is that my friend Melissa, who was there, I had 2 friends. There were 3 Melissas out of the 10 people that were at this retreat. 3 of us were Melissas, which is so funny. So my friend Melissa Pierce, we met at Summit. I don't even remember what year, but we met doing karaoke, and our song was Living on a Prayer. So from then on, anytime I hear Living on a Prayer, I think of Melissa Pierce. I often sing and tag her in my Instagram stories. And oftentimes I'm running races, and I will do a video halfway through whatever distance I'm doing, and I will sing Living on a Prayer, halfway there, and I'll put it on my Instagram stories and tag Melissa Pierce, because I love her. And this race was super cool for me because Melissa Pierce was going to be at the finish line. I have never run a race, sang Living on a Prayer halfway through, and then had Melissa Pierce at the finish line. So that was super special for me. So I said to myself, I have to do this, especially today, because Melissa Pierce is at the finish line. But I oftentimes, when I'm running to save my battery, keep it on airplane mode. Did my little video, turned off airplane mode so I could post to the stories for Melissa. And as I did that, so now, I'm in Michigan. My family is supposed to be functioning as a fucking family unit at home without relying on mom, because I'm in East Buttfuck, Michigan. I turn off airplane mode and I start to get texts from my son, who tells me that no one took care of my dogs that morning. And in addition to that, one of the dogs, or all of the dogs, got into one of the dogs' gabapentin. And he doesn't know who, he doesn't know how many pills. And I immediately was like, oh my fucking God. So then I began from mile 6.5 to probably mile 10. I'm Googling the effects of gabapentin on dogs. I'm trying to work with my son to figure out if any of them are acting funny or where the pills are. It ended up being 10 pills missing. He found 4 on the floor, so 6 were gone. He didn't know how many he had given the dog that is prescribed them, so we weren't really sure what we were working with, but we ended up just saying, okay, keep an eye on the dogs. Let's pay attention to how they're feeling, and I'll check in with you at the end of the race. So from like mile 6.5 to like mile 10, that was my life. And I was like, oh my God, why did I ever take airplane mode off? I mean, I'm glad I did. Obviously, he had people to turn to here, but I'm glad that I was able to be there for him. But no, I can't emphasize this enough when, you're on a trip like this, there's always mom guilt, right? Mom guilt is inevitable, I think, all the time. I particularly think it's worse in the summer because, at least it is for me, because there's this like expectation of like, you have to be a good and present mom, and you also have to give them all of these summer experiences, and you also have to work and make a living and take care of yourself. And it's just, oftentimes it just feels like you can't win. And going on a trip like this, and I said this to so many of them while we were there, I'm like, there's always so many reasons why not to go, whether it's spending the money, whether it's I don't have the time, whether it's mom guilt, whether it's who the fuck is going to hold down the fort while I'm gone, who's going to be there for my kids, how are my kids going to handle this? Are they going to be sad? Blah, 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 blah. So many reasons why not to say yes to ourselves. And I am no different. I didn't know how this fucking weekend was going to go. I mean, everything in my life feels sort of up in the air at this point. So, you just do what you can. You do what you can to support your kids, to set them up for success, to take care of yourself, and allow for whatever's going to happen. And one of the greatest lessons in me doing these trips and sort of letting shit happen is that they do have to step up, lead on each other, turn to each other. I have to let go of perfection and let other people do a job that maybe I think can be done better. And I think all of these lessons are good, right? All of these lessons are good. And every time I come back, even though it is a little bit stressful coming home to a home that I haven't been in charge of for however long I've been gone, it's always really nice to come home and reconvene. And I do think that they appreciate me more when I do come back. So anyway, so that was interesting. And, I always like to say that because this was one of those things that, went wrong and I wasn't there to solve it. And everyone was fine in the end. So everyone was fine. All the dogs were fine. I don't know what the fuck ended up happening, but somebody had a fun day. I don't know. I see my dog when I give her the one gabapentin and she is fucked up. So I don't know. Who knows? That was interesting. So on all this way, I'm just going through the course. I was very hot. So one thing that I will be mindful of, like having a girls trip leading up to a race is, I didn't drink enough the day before. We didn't really party the day before. I did have some drinks, but not enough water. I don't think that, not enough food, not enough sunscreen. I mean, so we were outside the entire day on Thursday, the entire day on Friday. And I do think my body was really hot. Like I just felt really hot Thursday, Friday, and then on the race. And during the race, I just drank as much as I could. I put water over my head. It was a really wonderful course. I really enjoyed it. Some hills, but not too much, mostly waterfront. And then they had a lot of trails. And what was cool is they didn't have to shut a lot of roads down for it, but they had tons of volunteers who had great energy. But it was quiet. It was a quiet, course. And I listened to Tortured Poets Department. I'm in my Tortured Runner era shirt. So I felt like I had to listen to Tortured Poets, what you have to do. I saw a Swiftie at mile 10 actually who had Eras Tour shirt on. So we took a picture together and I just like tried to enjoy the course. Now I got to mile 12 and I heard my girl Rachel from behind. She's like, Melissa. So she caught up to me, and I was able to, this was the most meaningful part of it to me, is she was trying to PR. Her PR was a 2:49. And so when I reached her, she was definitely going to get that PR. So we did intervals, 30-second to 30-second intervals the whole way home. And she got a PR. All right. So we got to pass this art festival. It was an art festival at the very end. And, I turned on But Daddy, I Love Him Again and shouted and screamed and sang our way to the finish. Melissa Pierce was right there at the end of the trail cheering us on. All of our friends were at the finish line, and it was amazing. So we finished. Rachel got her PR by like 9 minutes, and we reconvened with the rest of our friends. So we still had our friend Melissa out there. So we waited to cheer her in and went back over to Melissa Pierce, who was by that art festival, which was right around the corner from the finish line. So probably like 12.9 miles, I would say. And I'm standing there with them, and I see Melissa coming. She was wearing, we all had like sparkly skirts on, or a lot of us did. And Melissa had on like fluorescent, like yellow and green, and a green skirt. So when I saw her coming, I ran over to run her in, and she was having the hardest race. And it was really, really hot. It was really hot. And she is, despite, like, when I look at her, I just am so blown away by all of the growth that she's done and all of the ways that she's challenged herself over the course of our friendship. And I am just in awe of her. But like most of us, she doesn't see that in herself, and she's super hard on herself. So she was just really defeated. She is training for Dopey in January, which is the big Disney race. 5K one day, 10K the next day, a half marathon the next day, and a full marathon the next day. And she just was creating this race in her head to make her believe that she wasn't going to be able to do Dopey. And she's just hard on herself. A lot of us are, right? So I was able to get her to the finish line. She got into the finish line. And then what was really, really cool is our friend Debbie, who did the 5K, who is really such a big supporter of everyone in our message threads and challenge groups. She's always right there with a kind word or an encouraging word, or even, we have this rule in our Strong Squad message thread that you can't delete anything that you write in there. And so she'll come up in this like little TikTok video of her as a cop to yell at people for deleting comments. She's just really fun. So she decided with some of the girls to wait for the last runner to come in on the half marathon course. And so the course supposedly shut at 3 hours and 30 minutes. This guy was coming in, I think it was like 12:45. So that was almost 5 hours later. 84 years old, walking the entire half marathon course. So they ended up taking the timing mat away so the timer could, clean up, but they didn't take down the, finish line arch, which was really nice. So Debbie and a couple of the girls stayed to cheer him in. And I went to the finish line to see this at the end. Debbie went out and Rachel went out to go walk in with him. 84 years old, walking the half marathon in 5 hours, came to the finish line. It was so freaking cute. They gave him, because they gave everyone a medal and a rose at the end. They gave him the last of the roses, which was an entire bouquet. And it was just really special. The pacer that went back out to get him back in was super emotional. He really wasn't. He just was, I guess, proud, but they gave him a little seat to sit in for a minute. And then it was funny because he was talking to Melissa about Dopey, because he had done Dopey 10 years ago. And then he's like, where are the awards? So he wanted to go. I'm sure, I don't know if he was going to be placing, because I'm not sure, because the timing mat was gone, if he was going to get a medal or something. But hopefully they fucking gave him a medal. I'd give him a medal. Timing or not, you finished that fucking 5-hour half marathon walking at 84 years old, and you deserve a medal. Abso-fucking-lutely. So that was really, really nice. And it was just like the most wholesome. I was talking to a friend last night about it. I'm like, it was just such a wholesome experience. From, I didn't know there was one girl who did her first 5K. Rachel ended up PRing her half marathon. My friend Leah, she started training for a half marathon 10 years ago and didn't finish it. She didn't finish her training. I don't know. don't remember what happened, but she, for whatever reason, didn't finish it. So she just felt like she was never going to do that. That was just something that she wasn't going to do. Well, she fucking trained and did her first half marathon. My other friend ran her second half marathon. My other friend, Susie, is a fucking badass fast runner. She came in at 2:03. But what was really cool about that story is that I guess she's sort of has run for time in the past, and through our conversations on the weekend about enjoying the course and running for fun, she was able to sort of turn off her pressure about the time and enjoy the course and just run for fun. So that was so cool. Like, so many cool stories, and and challenging themselves and pushing themselves and just being there for each other and supporting one another. And I just could not have been happier with how that whole experience went. The weekend, the things that we did on the weekend, the challenging ourselves and each other in the race itself. It was so needed. It was so awesome. And I can't wait to do it again. So this is not going to be the end. So if you are listening to this and you were like, I wish I went, I wish I was there, come next year. Just message me and say I'm in for next year. And I will just make sure to keep you updated with what is decided and, how we're going to proceed. But this is not the end of the Running Down a Dream team legacy, and and having running be this sort of center of how we come together, because I know that's been my experience. Running has brought so many beautiful and incredible people into my life, and just having that as sort of a goal, as I said, no matter the distance, no matter what you've done before, it's just saying yes to yourself. It's saying yes to the support of other women in the community of women, and just being there for each other. And that's, so I walked away. Oh, I'm going to cry. But like with these friendships, I had never spent that much time with Anne before. I'd seen her at other events. We've had fun together, but a stronger friendship with Anne, a stronger friendship with both the Melissas, Debbie, Rachel, and then new friends, Susie and Kylie and Shelly. And I just loved it. So thank you, ladies, if you're listening. I love you so much forever and ever and ever. We'll always have Marquette and the experiences of that weekend. But the race itself was a good one. I thought they did a wonderful job. And the medals were cute, and we had a great time in the Upper Peninsula, which I don't know that I would ever have gone to if it wasn't for this. So I'm super grateful. The fucking sunset at 9:30 p.m. there. And also the wild thing was the time difference, because we were right near where the time change is. So if sometimes we would drive from our Airbnb to Marquette and our fucking time would change, or sometimes our phones were different than our watches. Sometimes two people could have totally different times, different time zones. It was so weird. I've never been so close to where the time zones happen that we were like, what even time is it? All we needed to know was when to get to the fucking race. That was the only thing that was really important. Also, Michigan is a blue state. That was important to me. I had no idea that until I went there. Michigan is a blue state. Marijuana is legal. I went to the dispensary and they have the most incredible prices there. I got Nerd Cluster THC gummies. The bag is 200 milligrams, 10 pieces each. So 10 pieces of 20 milligram, like Nerd Cluster THC gummies. $7. I couldn't believe it. I got all flavors. So, I'll highly recommend it. Queen City Half. That's my, I think, 11th state, and I'm gonna go cross off my little state right now, actually. I hope this was interesting for you guys. Please, if this message or this episode spoke out to you, share it with a friend, take a screenshot, put it in your Instagram stories, tag me. I love that. Nothing more. I don't do any ads or anything to get this podcast out, so it's all word of mouth. And anytime that you share it, I'm grateful for you forever. Remember, it's your effing breakthrough. August 18th, say yes to yourself. Say yes to your self-care. It's always going to be busy. It's a matter of navigating your self-care in the busy, right? We're always going to be busy, right? We're always going to be doing things. Life is always going to be happening, and you have to say yes to you in all of that and learn how to navigate your own self-care in the struggle. It will help you, I promise. Love you. See you soon.